Hey there guys, how's it going? We are back with another video. This time we are going to be covering ailments and builds for all of the Valor plates in Godfall. This will be a quick reference guide to the ailments at the beginning of every video, just in case you haven't seen the series or you haven't watched the previous videos, or you're only looking for the video of the one that you're most interested in. So getting started, ailments in Godfall are like elements. So pretty much every damage type, whether if it's physical damage, fire damage, earth damage, water damage, air damage, void damage, which you can see on the screen, has a DOT, or a damage over time effect, a dot as it's called, that deals damage over time as applied as like a status effect. So in other games like Monster Hunter, you would have poison, status, those types of things that deal damage over time. In Godfall, each damage type has its own DOT, which is actually pretty interesting. And that's what we'll be covering for all the Valor plates that are focused around these ailment types. So for physical damage, you have bleed. For fire damage, you have ignite. Earth damage, you have poison. Water damage, you have ice or chill. You have air damage, which does shock or lightning, and void damage, which does curse. So that's what you're looking for. It'll say inflict with a percentage, and that's what we're going to be getting into now. Today, we will be taking a look at Vertigo, the Valor plate of air and lightning. So Vertigo has a 10% chance to inflict shock just for using her. Her Archon's Fury, which is sort of like her super, which you can press Z on keyboard, or if you're playing on console or using a controller, you push in both left and right stick. When you activate her super, she will unleash a shock wave, dealing 30 points of air damage. All right, so at that same moment, when she does the shock wave, she's going to get a 90% increase to inflict shock, which plus the 10% that you already have passively will make it 100%. And then she will get a 100% boost in damage to shocked enemies. And then if you're using a weapon that doesn't have air as its element or attribute, then it will do air damage. So covering what she has in her arsenal really quick is going to be something that can help you out as you're playing through the game, and something that you can look forward to, because you're going to get these drops a lot. So that's why I want to show off a couple items to help you along your journey. The first item I want to show you is the Silver Storm polearm. It is an uncommon weapon, and it will always have air as its damage attribute, and it will always have its primary attribute as primary effect, as a percentage to inflict shock. So if you're trying to go for really heavy air damage, Vertigo focuses on air, as we were talking about earlier, air and shock. So that shock DOT is going to help you deal a lot of damage over time. And this weapon is always going to drop with these attributes. It'll always have air damage as its base, and it will always have the ability to inflict shock. Another weapon that you will always see that can help you out as you're playing through the game will be Windstopper. Windstopper is another polearm, because for some reason most air weapons follow the theme of spears and lances. This one has a 21% chance to inflict shock when you use your northern technique. And it has a secondary ability, which is random. It's not always going to be the same, but this one that I got has a 25% damage increase to shocked enemies. So what does it mean by the northern technique? So the northern technique is when you charge up your weapon and you use the heavy attack. For the polearm, you're going to throw it. So you have, like I said, a 21% chance to inflict shock. It may not happen all the time, but it'll happen. So there you go. You saw it on the second hit, it inflicted shock, and they're taking the damage of 62 points per hit, which is cool. So looking at it, Vertigo has a base when you use your skill tree to fill up for the 8%, plus the items that you have, which we'll go over in a second. using the northern technique gives you an additional 21% chance to inflict the shock damage. So with the 26% that I have, with the items that I have equipped, that puts us at 47%, which is a little under 50%, but there are ways to increase it above 50%, which we're going to talk about in a moment. But that's a good way to, apply it to get the damage out. Plus, it's a ranged attack. You can throw the spear, so you can start off by doing that to bosses by just throwing it at them and then rushing them in, and getting in that damage before they can really react to you. So next, we're going to look at rings, and rings are kind of straightforward, just like the Silver Storm Spear, which is an uncommon weapon. You're going to find your support accessories in the uncommon section as well. So first off, we have the Sparking Circuit. The Sparking Circuit is a ring that will inflict a percentage of shock to enemies, just like the spear. So you have the spear, which is giving you a percentage, and then you have a ring that does the same thing, which is also uncommon. And then if you want to inflict more air damage, there's another ring for that, which you'll get. So as long as you keep playing the game, you're going to get these two items, and you're going to get multiples of them. And they're always going to have these two primary abilities. That's the good thing about uncommon items in this game, is that the uncommon items are always going to have what you need. And then it's the rare items that are going to have more random effects. But there are some rare items that always have what you need too, but they're always going to be more on the offensive side. So looking at these two items, these are going to help you out with increasing that DLT for the shock damage and dealing more air damage, which helps your DPS over time. Other than that, you have your life stones. So there are two life stones that you can look at. There's the Bead of Hardened Aetherium, which is the one that I prefer for people to use if you're going to use an ailment build. The Bead of Hardened Aetherium will give you a varying percentage that's higher than normal of a chance to inflict ailments. So this is straight across the board. This will give you a higher percentage chance of all ailments, no matter what you're using. But this is an activated item, so it will not count towards your overall stats. So it does not count towards my 26% shock damage that I have, inflict shock that I have in my stats, because I have to activate this item. So every time I go to heal using my flask or like my health recovery item, I'll get 10 seconds of 14% chance, which is pretty good. The other item that we have is the Plague Pennant. The Plague Pennant is a banner, and this banner will last for around 30 seconds when you're in the AoE circle. So we'll show off that AoE circle in a second, but the Plague Pennant works for not just you, but other people that are with you. So if you're playing co-op or multiplayer, this will also give them a stat increase. So what it does is mine, which is at level 30, will increase the ailment chance by 26%, and it will increase the ailment damage by 51%. So let's take a look at that really quick. We're going to kill this guy while he's just walking around. Oh, I missed. Where is he going, by the way? I don't think he knows. All right, so we'll get a new one out. So to press up on the D-pad, we're going to bring out the banner. And as you can see, the banner, it goes pretty far. So it goes from the center of that circle all the way to the next circle and past the door. So you got a large amount of space to use this banner. And this banner is going to increase your chance to inflict shock, and it's going to increase your shock damage that you deal to enemies, and plus your air damage that you deal to enemies when they're shocked. So it's going to help you and your allies. And the good thing about the Plague Pennant banner is that it helps your allies as well. So if they're using ailment builds, like say there's someone else using Vertigo, which would be really cool. If two of you are using Vertigo and one of you puts out your banner, then you're both going to get that increase to apply shock and to deal damage to enemies that are afflicted. So also keep in mind you have the Archon's Fury, which we're going to show off right now. So you have the Archon's Fury, which also gives you a 100% chance to inflict and 100% plus damage. So once you activate it, it's going to deal that 30 air damage. and it's going to immediately inflict them with shock damage. So that's the Archon's Fury, and that's the items that you have. The other thing to look out for when you're playing through the game and you're using Vertigo is in your skill tree, you actually have a section for ailments. So it'll increase all your ailments by 8%. That's what you see when you look at my stats, how it says for everything else, for bleed, ignite, chill, poison, curse, they all have 8%. Well, your skill tree gives you that 8%. Plus, it also gives you an extra 35% damage to enemies that are afflicted by an ailment. So that's everything you need to know about Vertigo for right now. While you're playing through the game and you're just having fun, keep in mind that there are some items that can help you out. You know, you have 2 rings, you have multiple weapons, you have a life stone that can help you out to deal more damage. You have a banner that you can use against bosses to help you deal more damage. That's it for Vertigo. She's a pretty cool character. I really like her design and the way she looks. And other than that, like, just have fun with her. You know, just go nuts. You know, if you see a weapon that has air damage, don't be afraid to use it. You know, read what it does, and, you know, hopefully it has the bonuses that you like. But other than that, that's it for this video. I hope it really helped you out, and I hope that you learned more about the character and more about the game of Godfall. And other than that, I hope to see you out on the battlefield. Hope you're enjoying the game, and if you're not playing the game, then maybe this will give you some incentive to play the game. Who knows? Either way, I'm out. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.